Hello, I'm Victoria and I'm with Terry. She's going to introduce herself in a minute. And we're going to show you how to make, using this very simple pattern, how to make this mask. Okay, I'm going to put it on real quick. From the 10 by 6 fabric that we were sent. Okay, so here's your 2 pieces of fabric. And she folds it in half. Now her pattern says fold, so she's going to put that right up against the fold line. And then on the bottom, she lines it up with the edge. Now she's got her marker, and she's going to draw around. Okay, and then she's going to cut off that excess. Just holding the 2 sides together. And be mindful to keep those 2 sides together nicely. Okay, she's continuing to prep her materials and she's going to cut her elastic at 9 inches. So you need 2 pieces of elastic cut at 9 inches. And don't tug on it to stretch it, but just make sure you've got it straightened out so it's an accurate cut. So now she's going to open it up, flip it, and she's flipping it so the curved side is down because it's going to be a little easier to pin the elastic. So she opens up that right side, takes her elastic, and she puts it on the top corner and then puts that white right on top, and then she's going to put the pin in. She takes her pin and she picks up all 3 pieces of material together. Now Terry, go ahead and turn it over and show how you got it through. Okay, you see how the pin came through on the other side. It absolutely has to come through. Okay, now she's going to open that up, make sure her elastic is not twisted, and she's going to the other corner. Puts it down, and she has to pin through all 3 pieces, so she picks it up and putting in. Are you a righty or a lefty?
Lefty.
A lefty. See, so she holds it with her left hand, and with the right hand, pins with her left. You guys will have to work that out if you're righties. Okay, now she's going to go over and do the exact same thing on the other side. And see how she hangs the elastic over a little bit? It's really important. Picks it up with her right hand. If you're a righty, you're going to pick it up with your left hand. Puts it in, and she makes sure it goes all the way through.
Keeps the elastic tucked in.
She's pulling that elastic out just a touch. So it's past the edge. Goes in through all 3 layers. Good. She's going to throw 2 more little pins in here on the top of these little bunny ears here. And then 1 more right here. Lining her fabrics up. Don't worry if they're not perfect, but try to get them as close as you can. Okay. Okay, before we start sewing, we're just going to look at some aspects of the machine. So, we are going to stitch on A. We are going to stitch on 3.5, and then the A coordinates up here on this wheel. Coming around over here, this wheel on the side always rolls towards you, never back, or you could affect the transmission. I'm going to come around the back of the machine and show you the arm that you lift when you want to raise the presser foot. See that? That lifts and lowers for the presser foot. Start sewing at the top of the right bunny ear. She's going to line up the edge of her metal foot with the edge of the fabric. And you can sew right over that pin, but see how she pushed the head out. You don't want to sew over the head of the pin. She lowers the foot. stopping, hang on a second. She took her hand and went over to the wheel because she has to make sure that the needle is down so that when she lifts up the presser foot and turns it, the fabric doesn't move. And that's how you do angles. She's gonna sew. She takes her hand over. She rolls that until the needle is down. She lifts, lowers. It's okay.
I want to get the head out of the way.
Oh yeah. Make sure you see how she's not sewing over the head of the pin. And she's now going to sew that long straight side. She's coming on up to that angle. Moves it with her hand. She makes sure the needle is firmly in the fabric because that holds the fabric in place. Lifts the arm, turns, lowers the arm, and sews. Again, stops. She's making sure that needle's down. Lift, lower, and she's going to cut right off the edge, but again, she has to make sure that head is done. Okay, now watch for a second. She's going to, I'm going to pass this here. She's going to pull this out, and she's going to pull it really long, and she's going to go back here. There's a little razor blade in there, and pull, almost like dental floss, and that's how she cuts. And she makes sure that she leaves a long tail, so the next time she sews, if that tail is too short, it's going to get sucked up into the machine, and you'll have to rethread the needle, which is a nuisance. Okay, she's going to remove her pins. And she's going to flip what she just did inside out. She's kind of pushing with her fingers. See how she's pushing? So that she can get all of those nice angles that she just sewed. And when she gives the elastic a little bit of a tug, it's going to even help pull those angles out. That's one side, and here she's coming around to the other side. Really pushing it inside out, or in this case, right side out. Now she's going to lay it flat on the table, and she's going to finger press it. And what she's doing is she's just going around with her hands, because you really don't have to iron it. She's just kind of making sure it's all out nice and clean. And just the warmth and the moisture in her fingers will keep that fabric down. And that's just called finger pressing. See how she's getting that nice and smooth, and that saves you having to iron. You can iron if you want to, but you don't need that extra step. So now she's going to fold it with the inside of the mask facing out, okay? The white part is going to go towards the mouth, but now the mask is inside out. And she's going to pin it in 3 places, but pin it such a way, Terry, that you're not going to have to move the head of the pins when you go to sew. So she's going to keep the head on the inside. And when you guys pin earlier, keep the heads on the inside, and then you won't have to move your pins. Well, she's lining up all 4 sides, because you've got 4 pieces of fabric now that you're pinning through. A couple layers there. Great. And now she's going to take it over to the machine and straight stitch. She's just stretching right down, following that soft curve. Very easy. Again, it's lining up on the edge. She's going to stitch right off the edge, right off the edge. She lifts, pulls. She's going to do that little dental floss move on the razor. Taking out her pins because she doesn't need them anymore. That's being held. And she's going to go back again, and now she's going to do something called a zigzag. Okay, so let's go over here. Now, your zigzag is C on this machine. Let's go over to the wheel. So she has to take the wheel and move it to C. Then we're going to drop down here, and we're going to do this on a 2. Okay, and that's your stitch length. And that's going to make a nice tight zigzag. And what that's going to do is prevent fraying. She's just zigzagging right along that curve. She's gonna go right off the end. She's gonna trim the threads. Now she's going to turn the mask right side out. So now we're down to the very last part, which is a top stitch. So for the top stitch, you have to go back to A. And you're going to go back to 3.5, 3.5. She's going to take the mask, and she can start anywhere, and put it in, but this time, she's not going to line up the edge of the metal with the fabric. She's going to kind of hang halfway because she wants to get her stitching pretty close to the edge. And she's just going to sew right the way around. She's just hugging that edge. She's doing that thing, remember, where she leaves her needle in, she lifts her arm because she's got to take these straight edges here and these corners. She's going to do it again right now. Leaves her needle in, or rolls it in if it's not already in, lifts the arm, turns, lowers the arm so the presser foot is down. Going up. She's just hugging that edge. And here she comes to another corner. Leaves her needle in, raises the arm, lowers the arm. The presser foot is down. She's just going to go one time around the mask. Now she's coming up to where she started, and she's going to back tack. Hold on. So let's see what that means. She takes her finger and puts it on that to reverse. She's going to go backwards, forwards, and that is going to lock that in. Now she's pulling it out. If it's hard to pull out, gang, just loosen the wheel a little bit. Turn the wheel. She cuts her threads. Okay. And she's going to put her beautiful mask on. Great mask. Great job.